Let's move on to our fourth main topic today. Chris, what is main topic number 4?
Fourth topic's from Gary Timerman. Greetings, everyone. According to Deadline, it looks like Jonah Hill is out of the running for the new Batman movie. I'm disappointed by the news since I think he's awesome. What do you think broke down the talks? Where do you think this went wrong or off the rails, John?
Yeah, so I'm sure a bunch of you guys saw this yesterday. The news came out. Now, it was just a couple of weeks ago that 2 pieces of news came out on the same day. Jeffrey Wright and Jonah Hill were going to be joining Batman. Now, they both the reports said it's not a done deal yet, but they had clearly agreed to do it, and now they were in negotiations for working out the contracts. I believe the Jeffrey Wright thing is done. I believe I heard the Jeffrey Wright contract is done, signed, everything, which to me was the more important one. He's going to be a great Gordon. Jonah Hill, here's the thing. I can understand why some people would hear the Jonah Hill thing and go, really? The goldfish in the boots boy from 40-Year-Old Virgin? The super bad kid? But here's what we often forget about Jonah Hill. This dude is not a one-time, but a 2-time Academy Award nominated actor, and he deserved both of those nominations. One for Moneyball, which he was incredible in. When you're acting alongside Brad Pitt, if you've got any flaws in your game, they're going to show. And he acted alongside Brad Pitt in that movie, and he was fantastic. Got an Academy Award nomination for it. And then they proved it wasn't a fluke, because then he's in Wolf of Wall Street with Martin Scorsese. And again, you act alongside Leonardo DiCaprio, you got any cracks in your game, it's going to show, and it's going to show obviously. But he stepped up, and he was spectacular in it, got his second Academy Award nomination. He has legitimately evolved from the fat, funny kid into a legitimately, truly solid actor. I'm not going to say one of the best in the world today, but a legitimately, truly solid actor. With that, and understanding he's not just goldfish boot boy anymore, I just thought, okay, I can get on board with this. I can get on board. This could actually, he's very talented. I always say, number one thing to me is put somebody talented in. You got a 2-time Academy Award nominated guy. That's good. However, that's not happening. It's done. Now, this comes to us from Deadline, who writes, 2-time Oscar nominee Jonah Hill is no longer in talks to play the villain in Warner Brothers' reboot of The Batman starring Robert Pattinson. Essentially, talks broke down, which happens on big pictures like these. We understand Warner is eyeing new candidates already for one of the roles in the Matt Reeves-directed DC movie. We heard that there was interest from the production in Seth Rogen for the role of Penguin. However, I hear no offers or talks have occurred. So basically, it sounds like it's a money thing. I mean, there's a number of different things. So they agreed, yeah, Jonah wants to be in it. They want Jonah. By the way, it should be noted here, it was never made official who Jonah Hill was going to be playing.
Yeah.
A lot of people have been talking and speculating as if, oh, he was going to be Penguin. Actually, they never confirmed that. That was it. Some people speculated Riddler. Some people speculated somebody else. But it sounds like this came down to, okay, yeah, let's do this. Now let's sit down. How much are you going to pay me? And they couldn't work it out. Now, it could be that. It could have been negotiating shooting schedule, and he might have said, that doesn't work for me. It might have been the number of films they wanted him to sign up for. Maybe they wanted him for an 8-film contract, and he just wanted to sign a 2-film contract. I mean, I don't know. There's a bunch of different things it could be. The most likely scenario here, it was money that breaks down. I mentioned this on the Weekly Hero yesterday when this was brought up. Jonah Hill was not going to be near the top of my list to cast as a villain in the Batman film. But he is one of those actors who is talented, and so when they announced him, I'm like, yeah, I'm on board. I'm totally on board. This could be great. But I'm also not going to lose any sleep that he's no longer going to be in it. If he was going to be in it, great, I'm all on board. But if he's not, I'm not losing any sleep. Like, I would have lost sleep if we found out the Jeffrey Wright thing wasn't happening.
Yeah.
If the Jeffrey Wright thing wasn't happening, then I would be legitimately bummed. But Hill, okay, I'm good with that. And I'm not saying Jeffrey Wright's better than, I'm not saying anything. I'm just saying I can totally see, I feel like Jeffrey Wright was born to play Gordon. I don't necessarily feel that about Jonah Hill. So if he had been in it, awesome, I'm all on board. If not losing any sleep. So But I'm a little bit surprised because normally, not always, but normally once they get to that stage where they're like, okay, yeah, we want to do this. Let's negotiate the deal. Then it's usually just a formality. So this does happen, but not terribly often. So I'm a little bit surprised to hear this. Mm-hmm. What do you think about this, Chris? Like, are you bummed we're not going to see Jonah Hill? Do you think it's for the best that we're not going to see Jonah Hill in this? What do you think right now?
I mean, I am a little disappointed because I was excited about the possibilities of his casting. And when we talked about on the show, I was really hoping for him to be Professor Pig or something of that nature. That's right, yeah. I really wanted that. And then once more and more people were going, oh, no, I think it's Penguin. I was really excited to, all credit to Danny DeVito's Penguin. I loved his version of that, but I was really excited for the gentleman of crime Penguin and giving Jonah Hill a room to really stretch and see what else he could bring to the table. Fun fact, the character Penguin, Bob Kane said, was inspired by the mascot of Cool Cigarettes. So it's supposed, yeah. Isn't that weird? So it's supposed to be kind of like that little stout penguin, but with some elegance to it, a little panache. And I'd be really interested to see a different version of Penguin like that on screen. Like you said, though, I'm not going to be heartbroken about this. Jeffrey Wright is inspired casting for Gordon because everything about him, like his golden truth as an actor, is he's just somebody who you trust and believe in, and he feels intelligent and he feels kind. And so
his voice just screams, "I'm far smarter than you."
Yes,
it really does.
Oh my gosh, where you're just like, oh my gosh, can you like wrap me in a blanket and tell me all the ways I'm wrong about life? Teach me things. I love him. Same with Zoe Kravitz. I think that is really, really inspired casting. I love her for Catwoman. Jonah Hill was an interesting choice to me. The same way now Seth Rogen has me kind of Spock in a brow going, okay.
Yeah. Now, let's talk about that for a second. Because remember, let's not get carried away. He said, look, we hear there's interest in Seth Rogen, but as far as there's not even been any talks. I am a big fan of Seth Rogen. He's also proving to be a very good creative executive.
Yeah.
He's like one of the main guys behind Good Boys, which I thought was hilarious. I loved watching that movie. And I'm a big Seth Rogen fan.
He's behind Preacher. He's behind The Boys.
And by the way, I loved his highly, highly, highly underrated comedy that he did with Charlize Theron this year called The Long Shot.
Yeah.
Long Shot was really good. It was really good. That said, I have not come to the point with a Seth Rogen that we have like with a Jonah Hill. Jonah Hill, comedy guy, has shown and demonstrated he can do the drama as well. Yeah. I don't know. I'm not saying he can't. I'm saying I don't know. I don't know if Seth Rogen can step into a role like a Penguin or a Riddler and make us believe it.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know if we're not just going to see Seth Rogen. Whereas Jonah Hill, he has convinced us that he can embody a role, and then we see the character, not Jonah Hill. I don't know. Again, very clear with my wording here. I'm not saying he can't. I'm saying I don't know. I don't know if he can. So I'm a little bit more skeptical about the idea of a Seth Rogen than I was, say, about a Jonah Hill, even though I'm a bigger fan of Seth Rogen's.
Yeah.
So I don't know. It would be, again, I like the words you used. Interesting choice.
Well, we've seen Jonah Hill be transformative. And we haven't had an opportunity, really, for Seth Rogen to be that way.
And maybe this could be it.
And it could be it. And I stand by, comedy, in my opinion, is a lot harder. It is so hard to make somebody laugh. It is really easy to get people to cry because we as humans want to be empathetic. We want to feel along with you. So people, we see it all the time with comedians who make that transition from doing comedies to dramas and really, really proving that they are masterful actors. So maybe that's what we'll see here.
I have been swindled a couple of times to going to open mic nights at certain comedy clubs. Chris, you are so right. It is hard to be funny.
Yeah.
And if you don't believe that, go to your local comic club's open mic night.
I don't miss open mics.
And see just how hard it is to be funny.
Especially after someone in front of you bombs. And they suck all the energy out of the room. It's
terrible.
So bad.
Question is, guys, what do you make about this? Are you really disappointed by the Jonah Hill news? Maybe you were excited about it. Maybe you're one of the people that's going, oh, thank goodness, I didn't want him in that movie. Maybe that's where you're at. What do you think about it? Jump in the comments section below and leave your thoughts. All right.